Hello, welcome to Ella Cafe. My name is Rebecca and today we are going to be talking about how powerful you are. Yes, you are absolutely powerful. Even if you don't realize it, you have been born with incredible strengths that were given to you by God, and they are your gift to use to make the world a better place. What I want you to know is that you were born with these talents, that these things were present with you from the time that you were tiny. And I know this because I've worked with children for 15 years. And I know that from a very young age, it is very evident that these personality dispositions, like we talked about on the last video, and these talents that you grow into strengths as you practice them, are with you from the beginning. They're part of God's plan for you. They are part of what is within you as the seed from when you were first conceived. And all you have to do is worry about trying to grow into the person that God has created you to be. That's all that you have to worry about in life, is being who God created you to be and being faithful to Him. You have been designed perfectly for the purpose that God has assigned to you. No one else can fulfill your purpose because no one else is exactly like you. No one else has the same personality, strengths, experiences, and passions that you do. You are placed perfectly for your purpose, for what God has planned for you. And you are powerful. And I hope that today's video, you could really lean into this and really seek God to show you how powerful you are, to seek the truth. I'm going to give you some tools, but these are just man's tools. Only God and what is within you can truly discover what it is that God has planned for you. And that's your work to do. No one else can do it for you. Be willing to practice. As you learn these things about you, as you come into not just knowing, but owning them, then you need to practice them. You need to find ways and times that you can practice them. How can you start putting this out into the world to serve mankind, to serve God? If you do not accept that you are powerful, if you do not take the time to learn and understand who you are, you cannot be used in this world for the good things that God has planned. One of the things that we do wrong is that we try to mimic other people. And it's okay when you're young as a toddler and that is how they learn, is by mimicking. But as we grow, and especially as we are adults, we need to stop trying to be like anyone else and be fully who God created us to be. Because when we're fully in who we are supposed to be, we have self-confidence and we feel good and we feel secure and we feel happy and fulfilled. There's no reason for us to ever try to mimic anyone else or compare ourselves to anyone else. There's no one like you, and you're amazing. In addition to the test that you're going to be able to take here at the end as part of the worksheet, I want you to think about, what is it that other people say about you? What do they say that you're good at? What do they ask you for help with? Because you may not even recognize that you're good at it because it's so effortless to you that it's just part of who you've always been. You don't even recognize it as part of your strength set, part of your powers. And maybe you have built skills in a lot of areas, but you don't really recognize or aren't working within the area that you're truly powerful in, to allow the world to experience what only you can offer. So thinking about that as you ask yourself these questions on the worksheet, like, what is it that you can do all day long that makes you lose track of time, that you enjoy, that it doesn't feel like a work, it feels like a pleasure. So I want to talk a little bit about what the difference is between a strength and a skill, because this is one of the most deceiving things that the world does, that why we need to be very aware of what it is that our strength set is so we can stay working within our strengths where we're supposed to be. We were never meant to be working in an area where we were not created to be. because that is building a skill. We truly do have the ability to build a skill and to learn and to, by routine behaviors, get competent at many, many things. That does not mean that it's something that you were supposed to do. I, unfortunately, lost 10 years of my life doing some things that I was never meant to do. I joined the military, which really required something that was in absolutely my bottom strengths, in focus and discipline, consistency and deliberateness. All of those things are in my bottom tier, but they're in my husband's tier. I met him while I was in the military, so that worked out really nicely, but the point is, I didn't enjoy the military because the jobs that I was doing in there were not a good fit for me. Did I build a skill and was I competent? Yes, because all of us have that ability. But I wasn't happy and I didn't feel fulfilled. And then I went into office jobs, same thing. It took a lot of those same skills that I had built, and I did it, but I, again, felt very exhausted at the end of the day. I did not get excited to go to work. I had no passion about it. And luckily, I finally figured out that I was better suited to work for myself and to be in a creative space and to allow myself to have that by seeking out my happiness, honestly. And if my daughter had not been born, maybe I would not have chose that, because sometimes it takes your situation to change for you to sit back and actually analyze what's going on with you. We just get in these ruts. We get in the routine. We get on with life. We go into survival mode. We know that we have to provide, and we know that we need to go and do something with our lives. So we just pick and we start walking down this path that was never chosen for us from God. So make sure that you're really checking your heart, that you're really checking with, do I truly enjoy this, or is this something that I built a skill in? Now, the test will reveal some of these things, because some of your higher things will come to the top and you'll see some middle range things that possibly you've built skills in, but it'll be pretty evident the things that you're weaker in. But really look at those, all of the areas of these, and think about, have I built a skill in this area, and is that why I'm competent at it? Not because and even that's why I do it for work or whatever, because it is something that I've built a skill in, and really understand the difference between a skill and a strength. Sometimes we try to be something that we're not, because maybe we were rising to an expectation that somebody else created for us, or possibly it's we are rising up because we felt like we had to, because we got in that survival mode. So really check with yourself and pay attention to how you are responding. If you don't have any motivation, if you feel really negative about something, it's very likely that that is not something that you're supposed to be doing, because when we are on purpose, when we're doing what God designed us to do, it feels good. It feels energetic. The burden is light. So I just want you to make sure that you are thinking about these things. You were never supposed to be good at everything. You are supposed to be good at the things that you've been called to do, and you will be naturally good at them. You don't even have to think about it really, but you do have to consciously engage yourself in activities that will allow you to use them, because the natural world will give you resistance toward going down the path that God wants for you. It's just the way that it's set up, and you have to be aware of that. These powers are given to you. You're born with them, but they are not for you. You are created to be a part of a bigger plan, part of serving the rest of humanity. You are supposed to shine your light into the world so that other people may see the glory of God. That is what you're supposed to be doing. We also have to be careful, because we can do something what's called an overdone strength, and that is when you are strong in an area, but you are not using it for good, you are using it for selfish ambition. So what that looks like is, let's just say that you have leadership strengths. That could make you very bossy and overbearing, and where you always have to have your way, and you get ahead by pushing other people down. And that is not obviously the way that God intended for that. I personally have a lot of relationship strengths, and a strategic is my number one. So that means that I can be very manipulative. I can get my way because I'm strategic and I have the people skills to get away with it. We don't want that. So be aware of the ways that you are overdoing your strengths. The way to know that you are operating within a strength is whatever you're doing will feel effortless. You often, when you're speaking about something that has to do with your area of strength, you will often, your voice will change and lift, and you will have more energy and excitement. Possibly you're seeing this in me right now, because this is what I was born to do, to encourage you, to help you to find out who you are so that you could engage who God has created you to be into this world, that you can grow and blossom and bear fruit in a way that will serve God's world and everybody around us in the way that He intended. So now I would like to move into just helping you understand how this is broken down. Now, this is all based on the StrengthsFinder system. That does not mean that they have it 100% accurate. You still have to do those conversations with yourself and with God and searching and seeking, but this will give you some ideas. And so when you're looking at it, there are 4 different domains that these different strengths fall into. I believe there's 34 strengths. And of course, yours are going to be listed in a particular order. That's why I put them all on there. If you were to go to the StrengthsFinder's website, you could take a test, and for a certain amount of money, they would give you your top 5 strengths. But I really like you to see your weak areas, because I want you to see the areas that you should try to hire out, avoid, work around, that you don't want to spend a lot of time there, because it will take a lot of energy, waste a lot of time. It will distract you because it will make you feel low and down, and it will make you want to take a nap. So when we're looking at the 4 areas of the different strengths, they fall into 4 different categories. Those categories are listed on your notes, and as you can see, I put them under, there's action, there's relationship, thinking, and influencing. And so what's neat is once you take the test, then you can kind of list there which ones you are and see what category you fall in. Most of mine fall into relationship. Most of my husband's fall into thinking. And you'll have other people that are super action oriented and other people that are highly influential. Now, you might have a mix of all of those things, and that just might mean that you are either not totally clear on who you are and what your role is, and you've been kind of building some skills and maybe playing roles that you were never intended to do, or possibly you are kind of more of an all-purpose, and whatever it is that your purpose is, your strengths will make sense for that. So it's just kind of a cool identifying tool, and again, it's just meant to help you have a little more clarity. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about what a weakness is and why we want to work around it. When you are working within a weakness, again, it's not that you can't do it, because you can. You can absolutely do anything. And sometimes we will be called to do things that we don't feel equipped to do. If God calls you to do it, He's going to allow you the skills and the abilities to do it. So don't worry. But we want to try to avoid working in our areas of weaknesses, or even trying to build skills in the areas of weaknesses. Unlike what I was told so often was, if you are weak in an area, then that means that you need to strengthen it like a weak muscle. But that's not true. That is not true at all, because when you're in an area of weakness, it makes you very exhausted. It takes a lot more time to learn. It takes a lot more time to become competent at it. You will make many mistakes, and you will kind of be stuttering along, like you'll be starting and stopping. It won't feel like a flow, because when you're in a strength, it feels very flowing and effortless. So it's very opposite of that when you're working in a weakness. It feels very hard. And so thinking about that as you're looking, once you do the test and you're looking at those areas, think about examples for yourself where you can see that that's true. Thank you for taking the time to grow and to learn about who you are. I really want you to know you are so powerful and you're so needed in this world. And so don't be afraid to start practicing those strengths that you have, and thinking about, how can I implement this into my job, into my life? Maybe you're even thinking about starting something new, a business, or something that can impact the world with a nonprofit, or serving somehow. And I just hope that this tool helps you and you have a better understanding about how powerful you are.